Perform the wedding ceremony for your granddaughter. If you are worried about the legality of marrying the living to the dead, just remember the nuns have been marrying a dead man for centuries. An excerpt from page 14 of Jason King by Gordon Horton.
Welcome to P English Literature, a YouTube channel that conveys Amazon, Goodreads, blog, and video book reviews coupled with interviews with authors. It's a perfect channel for book lovers, authors, and writers generally. P English Literature, the exact channel for you and me.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and to the review of Jason King by Gordon Horton. This is a kind of book that falls under the genre of ghost fiction. It's a kind of a genre that I am not really familiar with, but while I read through this book called Jason King, it had me feeling quite contemplating, and it had me having some sort of likeness for this particular genre of ghost fiction, because most of the theme that was expounded in the book is strange to me. I'm not so familiar with it, but I'm very happy to learn some things from it. I'm very happy to learn some concepts about spirituality from reading this book. And I'm also happy to learn some concepts about shamanism from this book. And I would love to say that the book somewhat delved into the matter of spirituality as told based on this character's conversation. And it's such an amazing read. Though this review is a spoiler free, like I won't be talking too much about the book. I just want to give you a short video book recommendation of Jason King. Moreover, the book is made up of series. This is a first book series, and here I have little further there's a second book in the second book series of Jason King. I haven't read this. I look forward to reading it probably next week. So when I'm done with it, I'm gonna review it also on this channel. This review is gonna be talking about Jason King, and I'm gonna delve into it, though I won't be talking too much about the book. I just want to give you a short video book recommendation. Peradventure, you would love to get a copy directly on Amazon. So before I talk about this book, I'd love to read to you the synopsis that I will be reading directly from the book's page on Amazon. Imagine the world as the anchor to a chain, each link in the chain being another level of existence, each link dependent on the one before and after, all depend on the anchor. Now, imagine that the link to the anchor has been damaged, allowing passage back to this world from the next. Jason King is a woman rancher who gets tasked with the repair. His dead wife, Karen, is helper along the way. When disaster strikes the earth and billions are killed, it takes time to rebuild, time they may not have. True love never dies, and dead can prove it. Jason has to set things right before the anchor is lost and the chain being to unravel. That's a short description that I found on the book's page on Amazon, and from that you can see that the book is actually trying to expand on the theme that I said earlier on. Some of the theme in the book sought to communicate a sort of link that exists between the dead and the living. Because according to the protagonist, which is Jason, he actually has a dead wife called Karen, and when Karen died, there's some times that Jason, while in this kind of sort of real world, would be visited by Karen, and people does not actually or cannot actually see or sense the presence of Karen whenever she's with Jason. Jason is the only one, as told in the novel, that is able to perceive and communicate with Karen. Frequently, Karen would come visiting Jason, and sometimes they would go out together. And there's something that I find quite exceptional about this book, and that's the point whereby someone convinced Jason, that's Geronimo, convinced Jason that he should marry off his granddaughter to the dead. And while I read through this part, I don't know if this is reality or it's a fiction. Thank God I could read on the book page on Amazon that it goes fiction. So while I read through this point, it's somewhat contemplative. And this part, I've been thinking about a particular movie that I watched in Time Parks whereby someone was married or a daughter to the dead. And while I read through this part, it is somewhat contemplative and it's a bit, weird to me because while Jason was going through all of this, he actually killed his granddaughter, Becky, up to marry her off to the dead. But the aftermath of Jason's behavior, the aftermath of his adventurous journey, had him regretting throughout the novel. Because I read through different chapters that whenever someone is having a kind of a conversation with Jason, probably a different character entirely, is having a kind of conversation with Jason, and Becky is mentioned along the way, he would always feel sad. He always regret on his take of going in with, Geronimo's advice without thoroughly thinking and considering the aftermath. He was so sad with the eventual outcome, and he really fixed the music in a hard way. So the story kept unfolding, and it was unfolding in a dynamic manner. Though I wouldn't love to talk too much about this book because I want to try my possible best to make it a spoiler free. I don't want to talk too much about the book in entirety, and I don't want to talk about most of the things that eventually happened to Jason. Despite the fact that I'm still looking forward to reading the second book series. Well, I also love to say that the book is quite emotional to some certain aspect, and it's action driven, and I love the way with which most of the story are told based on the sort of conversation that exists between the characters. And I love the introduction part of this book because it first started with a conversation from the character. I love the way the book starts with conversation of the character, and at this point it was Becky, asking over Jason to know if he's fine or not. So the book is actually written in the first person point of view, and the narrator is Jason. Jason is the one that is telling the story. The story is written at the first person point of view, and I love the fact that Jason, who is the main character here, is the one that is telling the story. It told the story of how Becky came in place. It told the story of how Karen came in place. It told the story of how different characters begin to unfold as the story keeps on. It has a nice plot twist, and it has a great storytelling techniques. Though I would love to say that the book acts, a lot of characters, a lot of introduction of new characters as the story keeps unfolding. And the chapters are very short, in which you can be able to flip through the pages easily. And I would also love to say that the book expounds on the matter of spirituality, and it expounds on the matter of shamanism. I read of a part whereby in the conversation that is between both characters, they mention a sweat lodge. And this part had me resonating on Shanabaka's fearless conquering demons of mental purgatory, whereby she was being cured from, heartache, she was being cured from panic attack, whereby Shana was being cured in a sweat lodge by a medicine man. So this part had me thinking about Shanabaka's fearless conquering demons of mental purgatory, because in the book I read about shamanism. In the book, I read about sweat lodge. In the book, I read about spirituality. And all of this theme, in my perception, seemed to add beauty to the book. All of this theme seems to add a sort of a cogent feature to the book. Like I said earlier on, I won't be talking too much about this book. I just want to give you a short video book recommendation if you'd like to get a copy directly on Amazon. So, while Jason is made to believe a sort of link that exists between the dead and the living, while he's made to believe the sort of connection that exists between those who are breathing and those who are dead, I'd love to see that the book is quite engaging in the matter of spirituality, in the matter of, afterlife and the link between the dead and the living. So, Jason King by Gordon Horton is actually a fun read to me, and I look forward to reading the second book series little further. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna leave another video book review of it on this channel. All in all, Jason King is a kind of book that I would love to recommend for people who love ghost fiction. Though this is my first time of reading a book under this genre, so it sounds a little bit new to me. It's entirely new to me, and I find it quite engaging. If you'd like to get a copy of this book, I'll have to link in the description part of this video if you'd like to get a copy directly on Amazon. So this is where I'm gonna stop my video book review of Jason King by Gordon Horton. If you watch this video to this point and you're yet to click on the subscribe button, I want to urge you to please click on the subscribe button over there. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you can get notified anytime I release new videos. And thank you for watching my video book review of Jason King by Gordon Horton. See you in my next video.